Our speaker for today is Police Lieutenant Colonel Kimberly Molitas. Police Lieutenant Colonel Kimberly Molitas is a graduate of Philippine National Police Academy, class of 2000, and has worked with the Philippine National Police for 22 years in various capacities. She also served abroad with the United Nations Stabilization Mission in Haiti. Our speaker also holds the record of being the first policewoman to become a Fulbright Humphrey Fellow. She completed the HHH Fellowship on Public Policy and Public Administration at the University of Minnesota, USA. She also holds a master's degree in transnational crime prevention at the University of Wollongong, Australia, and has earned a certificate on leadership development from the International Law Enforcement Academy in Thailand. Police Lieutenant Colonel Molitas has received numerous awards, including being named as one of the 12 emerging leaders of Asia by Asia Foundation, twice as Outstanding Policewoman of the Philippines and Outstanding Australian Alumni. Our speaker once said, "Coming from a country where most think that the Igorots like me are uneducated, I told myself I should be an example or inspiration for the younger Igorots to excel." On top of this, our speaker is a model, jet ski junkie, a horseback rider, and a certified scuba diver. Once again, may I present to you our speaker for today, Police Lieutenant Colonel Kimberly Molitas.
Hi everyone. I'm sorry I cannot sound check with everybody. I hope you can hear me. I also apologize if my voice is not that good. I'm currently on quarantine. As you can see, I'm not in a formal setting. I'm not in a hall or anything, any police office because this is my 17th day, no, 18th day of quarantine. This is something that you don't want to be a positive with. I'm COVID positive. So I apologize if my voice is not that good or sa Tagalog ngongo ako ng konti. But this afternoon, I'm very happy. First, allow me to, of course, express my gratitude to Dr. Engelbert for PASAG inviting me to speak to you today. Of course, the Pan Pacific University and all the participating universities, thank you so much for the invitation. I am very happy and glad. I did another talk last week, and perhaps this COVID times would be a perfect time to do this and speak to as many young people as I can. Why in quarantine? It was not mentioned, but during my intro, but I was the past spokesperson of the National Capital Region Police Office, and also the past deputy spokesperson of the Philippine National Police. Hence, my life in the past years has been being with the media and students and everywhere else, talking about what the Philippine National Police does or what the programs are that we do as we progress along taking care of the security of our country. But this afternoon, I was tasked, Gilbert and I had a discussion on what really to speak to you about. And I was thinking about policing and all that, because I know from Engelbert that the audience are mostly criminology students. So I assume that you all aspire to be police officers like I am. And I am telling you, it's a very rewarding job. We call it not a job, but a vocation, because it's public service. There's nothing that you do every day that does not define public service in the life of a police officer. And if you want to serve the public, what better way to do it than to become one of us, police officers. So it's either you go to the police academy where I graduated, the way back in 2000, wag niyo i-calculate ang age ko, okay? Or you go to the recruitment process of the PNP, where you become a patrolman, a patrolwoman, and then you progress through the years and become an officer like I am. But please, I encourage you to take the exams and go to the Philippine National Police Academy, where I graduated. From there, you take a 4-year course and graduate as a first lieutenant already. So you become an officer. You join the officer corps. Anyway, this afternoon, I know that most of you know that my topic would be security in times of COVID-19. But before I start talking about it, I just want to make sure, Sir Engelbert, is the audio okay?
Yes, ma'am.
It's good?
It's loud and clear. Yes,
It's good? Okay. Yeah, just tell me, please warn me if I'm going too fast. I don't know about our connections. Not everybody has a strong connection. Sometimes it's low, sometimes it's good, it's high, di ba?
Yes.
And dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, hindi naman tayo lahat naka 5G. My 4G, my 3G, you know. But I'm not a very techy person. It's funny, I finished my master's in transnational crimes and did a paper on cybercrime, but believe me, you're not required to really be a techy person to understand cybercrime. So, and I just mentioned that because at this time, of COVID-19, one of the challenging experience that we are having is the crime that's committed online, really. And all the things that happens online now, because this is now our way of life. The cyber world or the virtual world is really alive and kicking right now. So most of the countries around the world is now using this platform to be able to communicate and do business and go to work, build something new, build something that would sustain their everyday living. It's a way of business. So everything right now is happening online, and this is one of the salient things that's happening at this COVID times. But this afternoon, I decided when Engelbert told me what should I talk about, I told him that let's not focus really on being a police officer. You guys are young, you guys are energetic, you guys are still in school, and I think it's very important to understand really your role right now as future young professionals or future young police officers in this country. And this afternoon, I'd rather talk a mix of things that I would like to share with you, and not really delve on data or anything that would bore you, or that you can just actually go to Google and see it for yourself, okay? So, but allow me to start by saying that, security is not limited to not having a crime. It's not really just the absence of crime. It's also, security also would include the physical security. That's physical security. Una, that's the absence of crime, of criminality, or the being able to reduce crime. That's security. But also, it's very important for you to understand that security also involves the environment, food security, water security. All these things comes into play. It's not just the absence of war, as what Obama has said, no? As President Obama said, that security is not just the absence of war, but also is the presence of the feeling of safety for everyone and the provision of the needs for people, economically, environmentally, physically, emotionally, mentally, education. Those things comes into play when we talk about security for people. It is not just limited to just discussing crimes or whatnot in any area in our country. It's not just about looking at what's going on with theft, robbery, rape, cybercrime. It's not just that one, but it's the entire aspect or if it is in consideration of all the aspects of how a person and his environment are moving together as one. That's security. It's not just about focusing on crime. Okay, so I just wanna clear that up here. And then secondly, if I also want to share with you what exactly is the role of the police during this COVID time. Marami kasing magmula nung alam ko, for sure, alam nyo na itong mga terms na to, ECQ, GCQ, MECQ, alam nyo naman na siguro yan, di po ba? So, magmula nung nag-umpisa yan, ano ba yung naging role ng mga pulis or namin, mga kapulisan? We started doing the checkpoint, which many people react to, di ba? Maraming, nakita nyo naman siguro sa Facebook, sa YouTube, sa Instagram, sa Twitter, how people reacted with the checkpoints na pinapatakbo ng PNP together with other counterparts, the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the local government units. But for you to understand, the IATF, the National Task Force, has set ground rules. Tapos yung ground rules na yan, ang sinusunod natin sa mga checkpoints. And also, the task force has empowered our local government units to be able to implement something that would address problems in their own locality. So why am I mentioning this? Because I just want you to understand that what is applicable to this city or to this municipality is not necessarily applicable to another one. Para mas maintindihan ninyo yon bilang mga estudyante na it's not true to all. It's up to the local government units, the police, and the armed forces to determine the need for anything that is applicable to be able to protect the locality from the spread of this pandemic. So yun po yung ibig sabihin natin. Yun yung isa sa mga malaking role na ginagampanan ng Philippine National Police ngayon, ng mga kapulisan natin. So sana, huwag kayong magalit, huwag kayong mainit, or huwag kayong magtaka kung bakit magkakaiba yung ginagawa to every checkpoint na pinagdadaanan ninyo or nakikita ninyo or nakikita nyo yung pinupost sa Facebook. Huwag kayong magtaka. This is to clarify with you kung bakit gano'n yung ginagawa ng mga kapulisan natin. Second point is we also administer and run the swabbing centers in the country. So ito yung mga, meron tayong mga swab areas where people go and be tested for COVID. Nandun sa MOA Arena sa Pasay, meron tayo sa Ultra, and there are other areas designated by our government. So kami rin yung nagpapatakbo doon. Hindi po mga ibang agency, hindi Department of Health, hindi po. Police po ang nagpapatakbo doon. Why? Because una, we have the manpower. And number two, just for clarification purposes, those who are there, kung sino yung mga nandun, are the police officers who has background in the medical field. So, ibig sabihin, kagaya ko, I'm a nursing graduate. I'm in fact, I'm licensed, but unfortunately, this year I was not able to renew my license. Kaya po natanggal yung name ko dun sa listahan, kaya hindi ako kasama dun sa nagsuswabbing centers. But in fact, all those police officers who are there has been recalled from the field and assigned there muna as swabbers, okay? So we work with the Philippine Red Cross and the Department of Health, of course, but we actually man fully yung mga swabbing centers ngayon. So yun yung ginagawa ng mga kapulisan nyo ngayon. And just so you know, we have 1,761 confirmed COVID positive na mga pulis. Kasama na po ako doon. Kasama po ako sa positive. And then 9 police officers died in the line of duty nung namatay sila habang nag-duty sila during this COVID times. And they died of COVID also. So we have 9 casualties. And again, 1,761 police officers na positive. So all of us are in quarantine. Most of us also are many are in transmission. Ibig po sabihin, gumagaling na. Yung iba nasa hospital pa. So please pray for us, para mag-survive kaming lahat at bumalik kami sa trabaho para continue protecting our nation, okay? The next minutes, I'll just spend more time on what the COVID times is all about, okay? I know that this is something new, but this is not just something new for you. It's something new for the world. It's a world phenomena that's happening. Okay. One of the many things that I understood when I did my master's degree in transnational crime, transnational issues are issues that transcend our borders. Ibig sabihin, ito yung mga nangyayari na sa paligid natin that goes beyond our borders, not just limited to our country, but it's happening around the world. And whatever happens in this country, in the Philippines, has an effect to another country. Ganun yung nangyayari sa atin ngayon. Tandaan natin yun, ha? So those are transnational crimes and issues. Transnational crimes are those crimes that transcend our borders as well. So ano yung mga yon? Cybercrime, human smuggling, drug trafficking, arms smuggling, piracy. Yan yung mga tinatawag natin na transnational crimes. And transnational issues are issues that we discuss so that each country around the world would be able to do something about it. Those are transnational issues. And they are directly related to the transnational crimes that I just mentioned. Also, transnational issues also transcends not just criminality, but issues that would affect the lives of individuals and our states as a whole. So, kasama dito yung pandemic na pinag-uusapan natin ngayon. And at this time, it was mentioned earlier in my introduction that I did my policy analysis and public administration at the Humphrey School of Public Affairs. I spent there 1 year as a Fulbright scholar. And what I did was to look at the policies that countries carry out around the world to address transnational crimes. And I'd like to share with you part of my learnings that when a transnational issue happens, these times become the time of unexpectedness. These are the times when things that happen come unexpectedly. Ano pong ibig ko sabihin? It's the times when, let me go first to the not so good news, di ba? This times when this kind of things happen, this pandemic, businesses collapse, as you have seen. There are many workers who lost their jobs, di po ba? And then there are relationships that have been broken, and there are many challenges faced by each family, financial challenges, and many other challenges that we face. And many lost their careers, their growing career over this pandemic. But also, during time of unexpectedness, we have leaders emerging. We have a better understanding of the necessities because the necessities became very obvious. Kung kailangan natin, mas nakita natin ngayon. Ano yung mas importante sa buhay natin, mas naiintindihan natin ngayon. Di ba? Kaya nga meron tayong naging uso yung word na essential, di ba? Sa time ng COVID natin, sabi ng gobyerno natin, only the essentials can move from one place to the other. Di ba? Mas pinaintindi sa atin yun. And then, one of the many things that happened during this pandemic times is that talents are rising. Di ba? And I wanna look at that part, the leaders who are emerging and the talents that are rising, because this involves you, young people of our country. This time, education has stopped, and of course, our education sector are trying their best, to be able to cater to your needs. But one of the things that you have to look at is that at this time, you have to see yourself as a project. I call this hashtag project. Parehong spelling yon, pero magkaiba ang meaning, okay? Hashtag project. Okay? And this involves you, young people. Kasi sa pag-iikot namin, sa haba ng time, no, na binabantayan namin yung bansa natin at yung nangyayari araw-araw, nakita din namin yung importansya ng edukasyon sa inyo mga kabataan. Because of course, you are this may be a very old adage, this may be a very old phrase, but it is true that you are the future of our country. And this statement has been said many times over by the president of this country, the current president of this country, that you are the future of this nation. And I suddenly coined that term because tama naman, at this time, you cannot say that you have nothing to do with it, that you are not part of the solution. You are, in fact, you are one of the biggest solution that we have for this pandemic and for this crisis that we're going on with education. That's why I call it hashtag project. One of the many things that, and this time is also time of uncertainty, di ba? Sabi niyo, mag-enroll ba ako sa school? Babalik ba ako sa school? Paano yan? Di ba dapat third year na ako? Paano yan? Dapat fourth year na ako sa criminology? Magiging officer na ako next year, this year? Hindi ko magagawa. All these things are very uncertain. But at this time of uncertainty, it became also very clear that this is that time when you should understand your role as young people of this country. And you know what? Your role is very easy. And it's in fact at the tip of your fingertips. Kasi I don't think one of you, wala kayong Facebook account, hindi kayo nag-Google araw-araw, ginagawa niyo yan. And one of the many things that you should do in this time of uncertainty is to push that project for yourself. What is this project? Dahil kailangan natin na matuloy yung inyong yung pag-aaral, you should be able to project yourself and learn a skill sa panahon na ito. This is not an excuse to say na, wala akong magagawa this year kasi sabi ng Department of Education, kailangan alternative learning daw kami. Hindi naman able yung school namin, hindi naman able yung family ko. Pero may Facebook account ka, di ba? So, one of your role during this time, during this uncertain time, is to be able to project yourself and learn a skill that you can use to be able to contribute to build your own future. Yun po yung gusto natin, yung gusto kong i-emphasize ngayong hapon na to. It's not for anyone else but you. Dahil yan yung role niyo ngayon bilang kabataan sa panahon ng pandemic na ito. It's not very hard to do, in fact. Because sometimes when you want to build a skill, it is something that you want to do or something that you want to learn, something that sparks your interest, something that tickles you, something that makes you laugh or make you happy. These are the skills that you need to be able to develop during this time. It only takes an internet to be able to do it. Go to Google if you want. Use whatever social media platform there is and learn something new. And huwag kayong magtaka, ako din, ginagawa ko din yun. Because not all of us can go to work now. Even the police, we already have already organized the way we conduct our service to the public. So kung hindi ka rin kailangan pumunta sa office, kung hindi namin kailangan pumunta sa office namin, nasa bahay lang din kami. And it's one way of helping our country prevent the spread of this COVID. So importante na i-build natin mga sarili natin as an individual and be able to project ourselves to be someone better when we come out of this pandemic. Na kahit na kinulong ka sa bahay, meron kang bagong natutunan na skill na pwede mong i-implement or pwede mong i-apply pagkatapos ng pandemic. If the pandemic does not end now or next year, keep learning. Kasi yan ang importante to build our future. You know, I've always said, even in my past talks, that yes, I went to foreign schools. I did my master's in Australia. I, in fact, went to the International Law Enforcement Academy in Thailand. I trained in the US. I even recently I went to Harvard. I traveled a few countries in the world. But I always told myself that it is not something that would make me better than someone else, or that would make me smarter than someone else, or that would make me shine more than the person next to me. To me, all my education was just because I wanted my questions answered. That's why I wanted to learn things. Yes, you can be more knowledgeable about things, but you cannot be smarter than someone else. Take learning as just a curb to becoming a better person and knowing something more so that you can do something better. Yan yung lagi nating isa-isip. That we cannot be more than someone else. We will always be learning every day in our life. So we're all students, not just you, but us too. Even your teacher, he goes to school para matuto. Isipin nyo may PhD na yan, pero gusto pa rin niya matuto, di ba? Kami, maski pa paano, I mean, we are ahead of you guys. I think that I spent a little bit of 22 years in my career, but I still love learning. It was mentioned kanina that I'm a scuba diver, and currently I'm training as a motorcycle rider. Unfortunately, I had an injury, so I had to stop a little bit, but I plan to go back when my injury is healed. So, I decided to learn a new skill. Kasi sa tanda ko pong ito, hindi pa ako marunong mag-bike. So I'm trying to ride a bike, and then to ride a scooter, and then eventually ride a motorcycle. So it's those things that you build within yourself, little by little. There are things that you learn along the way that you can later share it with other young people like you are. It's a journey towards leadership. And you later realize that at your own level, you become a leader of your own. Gone are the times when only those people in position, okay? Wala na po tayo sa panahon. Gone is that era where sasabihin natin na kung sino ang nasa position, siya lang ang leader. Wala na po tayo sa panahon ngayon na ganon. At this time, especially at this COVID time, you can always be a leader in your own simple way. Do something that you're good at. Start something that you are good at. Learn something that you are not good at. And you have become a leader already. So, importante na maintindihan natin na kung saan tayo marunong, i-share natin yon. Kung saan tayo marunong, palakasin pa natin yon. Learn something more. Build it. Strengthen it. And then later, you are going to be the person talking to this platform, talking to younger students. So yun yung gusto kong i-share. But, this does not happen overnight. We also as your seniors, we as your older brothers and sisters, we also have a role to play. And our role in this time is to be your mentors. So I encourage all of you, to connect with people who inspires you most, who you love most, who you think would be able to help you develop the skills that you need or the person that you want to become. Talk to people who you idolize. Talk to your teacher. Talk to your parents. Talk to your brothers, your sisters. They can be your mentors. It is not limited to someone who did a master's degree or a PhD degree, or someone who has achieved so much academically. It's not it. Because I also firmly believe that people with experience, you cannot equate that with education. So kung meron kayong gusto niyong mag-business at meron kayong kilalang napakagaling na entrepreneur na hindi naman nagpunta sa universidad pero napakagaling na businessman, talk to them. Learn from them. You will learn wonders from their experience. And remember, the experience that you hear from them, you will never read that from Google. Hindi nyo po yan makikita sa internet. And it's one of the most rewarding learnings that you will have. So find a mentor. It's very important at this time. Lalo na that you can do it naman online. Diba? You don't have to necessarily see them in person. Connect. Build relationships. Even in this time of COVID, you can do that because you have the internet that will help you to be able to do that. But of course, nothing compares to a personal relationship. So I'd like to remind you that too, okay? That while you build your relationships across the virtual world, I also encourage you to build your relationship with your friends, your brothers, your sisters, your family, your parents, because they are also they're the most important at this time of COVID. The most important support that you should have. They are the most important people that we all should have at this time. You know, I haven't seen my family since the lockdown. Nasa Baguio sila. So we try our best to at least once in a while talk via video. You know, we talk to each other. Our father is matanda na rin, so we try to be able to speak to him and normally talk as much as possible about our daily lives that we do, especially at this time. So I encourage you to do that too. And I'm saying this because this is partly going back to my topic on security. This is directly related to that because doing this, developing a person, a growing person like you are, is being able to secure the future of our nation. And I hope that you understood that from the beginning. I started talking to you about this, because one of the many things that we should be able to do at this time, your role as a learning young person and our role as mentors, this would equally contribute to building our nation. And what we want to do right now is to build our nation by building you as a person. And I think that's one of the reasons why why my friend, your director, came up with this idea of having this conversation with you. And I promised him that I will not make it long because we are supposed to entertain your questions. And I'm not even, I apologize. I did not time myself. So I hope I didn't go past my limited time that your director has told me to do. And I just wanna, in fact, this is like the end of my talk, but allow me to conclude by telling you something about the book that I started reading, okay? And the title of the book is called Intentional Living. And I just, when the ECQ was lifted, the first thing that I did was I went to the mall and looked if the bookstore is open. There's a very small bookstore. There's a bookstore where I used to go, where people just bring their old books and leave it there and sell it to them, and then they sell it again to people who are interested with the books. And I found the book entitled Intentional Living, and I was just curious about it. And I didn't finish the book. I want to be honest. I still did not finish the book. I'm still reading it, but it's just in capsule saying that when you want to, how the way we live every day, we have to be very intentional. Ibig ko sabihin, and I think that it's related to this time, of the pandemic, that every day when we wake up, we should have this good intentions within our heart. We should look. When we start thinking, we should think with good intentions. Because if you look at what's happening right now at this COVID time, you will realize that the most important thing right now is to be able to do something good for other people so that we will all survive together as a nation. At yun po yung importante na makita natin ngayon. That we do things every day with intentions of being able to make things life easier for other people as well. The solution to this problem that we are facing right now, the collapse of businesses, the loss, the work that the people start working, the loss of many lives, the loss of work, and many things. Also, is enabling our communities to support each other survive. And I hope that you see that your role is to be able to help build your community by being able to build yourself as a student. At this time of COVID, at this time of this pandemic, I hope that you realize the necessities or the essentials of life. And one of these is to be able to have a good education that would fare you through when another pandemic comes in another era or in another decade, somewhere in the future. And if you become a police officer like I am, or if you become a public servant like anyone else, or if you become an educator who wants to be able to advance to the future and become a leader, you have to live your life with good intentions. Not tomorrow. You do not begin tomorrow. You do not begin the next day. You begin today. And I want to share with you an experience I had in Colombia. Colombia is an arc state. Alam ba natin yon? Ibig sabihin, it's a country that was controlled by drug money for a very long time. Colombia. But in 2016, the president decided the FARC has surrendered to the government. And now Colombia is transcending to a government of democracy, gumaganda na ekonomiya nila. But in 2017, I was there to witness the referendum. Bumoto ang mga Colombians kung bibigyan ba nila ng opportunity ang mga FARC na mamuhay ng normal. Pero meron yan papel, may condition yan. Nung bumoto ang mga Colombians, the no votes won. Nanalo yung no, okay? And I was very blessed to be able to witness this referendum. But nung natalo yung no, one of the young leaders there, I was speaking to them in a coffee shop, and I asked them, why did the no votes won over the yes? And this young Colombian told me, because the Colombians are now awake. Alam na ng mga Colombians kung ano ang tama para sa Colombia. So this afternoon, I'd like to end my talk by saying that I hope that at this COVID time, that you young people should awaken at this time. And I hope that this conversation that we're having right now inspire you to lead a better tomorrow, a better life, where you and I and the future generations would be able to thrive better and live better. So I hope that with that, I will end my talk.